Hello folks, this is Paragon RG and we are spectating a 2 vs 2 match with players from the very highest level. I'm excited about this because I've cast very few of these matches. And this one in particular has a lot of my favorite players. So let's take a look at the... Actually, first of all, we're on Hill and Dale, but let's take a look at our teams. Unfortunately, they're not grouped. But on one side, Team 1 is Hera in the blue, playing as the Holy Roman Empire, with TheMista as the red, playing as the Rus. Okay, so quick intro for these players. TheMista, one of the very best Age of Empires 4 players. I believe he's the best Age of Mythology player of all time, or is it Age of Empires Online? I think he played both. So very good, and he came second in the Genesis tournament, losing only to TheViper. This guy's a total beast, so I look forward to seeing him play. Hera is one of the very best Age of Empires 2 players. He's a Canadian, near and dear to my heart. Young guy, 21, something like that. Very talented, very good mechanical player. So on the other side, we have the Viper in the yellow, his preferred color, as the Chinese. And on the bottom, we have his good friend, DauT, in the green, playing as the French. So DauT is one of the OG Age of Empires 2 players, and actually still is one of the best. So he was playing back, early 2000s, placing in tournaments at that time, and he is still playing. And just this year or late last year, he won, yeah, it must be this year, he won the Red Bull Wololo 3 tournament. So really big deal for him. Was really great to see. He had a ton of people cheering for them. This guy's the best, and if you ever hear me refer to him strangely, it's sort of a meme to refer to DauT as the Lord and Savior. Viper is the greatest Age of Empires 2 player of all time, and he's doing pretty well these days. He had a rough year, but he's been back in action and has been absolutely killing it in both AoE 2 and AoE 4. So his attention is a little split between them right now, but I'm hoping he'll focus a little more on AoE 4 after a nice long stint in AoE 2, and we'll see how he does here. So let's see. So Viper as Chinese. Trying to keep an eye on. I don't see any Imperial officials. Oh yeah, there actually is one out from him. So he was probably supervising this mill. Take a quick look at what every player is up to. Pretty standard Rus start here. Unfortunately, the spectating view doesn't show us which players are aging up, but I can see now that Hera is aging up, TheMista is aging up, DauT must be aging up here with the School of Cavalry for the French. So we can probably expect, I wouldn't be surprised in a 2v2 to see a couple of Knights come out. Recently it's been meta to produce Scouts, but Knights could really keep your opponents off the map and force them to be reactive, which you could then follow up with Scouts, with professional Scouts researched. And so we will see... Oh, interesting. No mill. Am I missing? Yeah, no mill from DauT. So very focused build here. He's trying to hit a really good feudal age time with gold and food in the bank. Something to note here, you'll see GL DauT, GL TheViper. They are on the same esports team. So that's GamerLegion. It's a pretty cool team. They have a lot of my favorite players in Age of Empires 2. And hopefully they will make a splash in Age of Empires 4 as well. TheViper placing the Imperial Academy, so I want to say less aggressive, less defensive, less militaristic, a little more economical from him. That'll increase tax revenue, tax generation, I should say, from all the nearby buildings. It'll double it, and he will be able to collect quite a bit more gold passively for that reason. The gold gate went up from TheMista. This will allow him to trade at better rates, but only one per minute. So he sold something. We weren't able to see what, but he sold something there for 150 gold. And I think this may be too much information to take in. Although it's nice to see their civs at a glance. I think I'm going to minimize this for now, and we will go from there. All right, so scouts bothering each other in the middle. Actually, no, these guys are on a team. These guys are on a team. In fact, red is the roost player, so I wonder if blue is just taking a single shot at everything he saw so that red could come clean it up and then get the bounty. Something else to note is that you can kill boar and get bounty that way, so we'll see if players jump on that for every advantage they can get. Now, I'm not sure how serious of a game this is. Obviously, this is a custom game. These guys are friends, just jumping into a game with each other, but it would be worth knowing if they're, in the same Discord and joking around with each other, or if they're really trying to kick each other's asses. So, DauT is coming out now with his first Royal Knight. These things usually cause a pretty big splash when they hit. So we'll see what he gets up to. I'm curious where that next one goes. Right now, both sort of going out toward the center. Looks like they're trying to put pressure on TheMista. So they may be trying to prevent collection of the deer carcasses. Let's see if DauT switches his target to the one that is carrying a deer carcass. He'll try to pick off any scouts that he can. Huh, what is this? I didn't see this. The Viper actually trying to wall in TheMista. So Stonewall already in on his side, and I'm assuming we're going to see villagers. Here's one villager, actually 3 villagers making their way over. I'm wondering if this means a stone tower rush. So something some players, especially people playing as the Chinese Civ, have been doing. You wall your opponent in, and then you basically tower them. So what you can do is you can place a stone tower, but only on wall. And then you can make a gate, you can go through, you can place a few more pieces of stone, and then you can put a tower on them. So we see a bunch of fortified palisade wall coming out from TheMista. I think this may just be to prevent stone wall from being placed. I think that's all it is. I don't think the Roos can make... Yeah, they can't make stone towers. They can only make outposts or wooden fortresses are their version of that. So TheMista has clicked up. He's going up with the Abbey of the Trinity. He wants warrior monks. That is not going to work if he's walled into his base. Right? Remember, warrior monks let you grab relics on the map. So that is very nasty from the Viper. And we see the Viper is going to follow up and try to wall in Hera as well. So let's take a quick look. You'll notice Hera can't see that. So unlike Age of Empires 2, you can't see the building foundations. They're just sort of like a ghost foundation that only you and your team are able to see. So the Viper will follow up with that as soon as he can, and I'm assuming, yeah, there. So this has been walled off as well. So fully walls off the Roos player, and this is not a stone tower rush. He is simply trying to limit the Roos player's ability to do anything on the map. So many resources have gone into this fast castle. He'll be behind. In the meantime, I wouldn't be surprised to see if DauT is booming or something. Like, what is DauT actually up to? Still gold. School of Cavalry, not... Okay, so he's made a bunch of Royal Knights by now. Is currently torching down Hera's gate and will do his best to cause some problems there. Hera's just going to throw up an additional wall behind, although I think he can just repair this, so I'm not sure why he's doing that. Viper's stone walls are commencing here. So ridiculous. Viper is as well. I was talking about Tato in an earlier game. Viper is definitely one of the most creative and probably the most adaptive player in Age of Empires 2. And I think he proved that he is obviously insanely good at AoE 4 by winning the Genesis tournament. So I love seeing him come out with shenanigans like this because he also has the mechanical skill and the just the strategic creativity to pull this stuff off, right? Like, he's not going to be skipping building villagers while he's doing this. Everything's still going to be pretty tight at home. Now, we didn't see a Barbican at the Sun from him, so this still looks like a one town center play. Nothing too crazy there. I wonder if the Roos player will be going for battering rams. He's stuck in his base. He cannot help his opponent right now. So, interesting. It makes me think that if that's what they were going to do, why not just stop at, you know, wall in the Mista, and then maybe build a forward Barbican to the Sun or something on Hera, and just both push him. Because you know your other opponent can't really help in any reasonable time frame. He needs barracks, or, well, archery range, I guess. Infantry of some kind. Actually, just using a siege workshop straight up and making a trebuchet. I was going to say you need a ram, but a trebuchet will do it as well. So we'll see if the GL team was able to take advantage of that time that walling him in gave him. And Viper's villager actually has been walled into Hera's base, which is kind of amusing. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes forward and places an outpost or some similar shenanigans. He's definitely noticed. Okay, so he's going to place a gate. May just leave after that stage. And Hera looks to be fully walled in. So both opponents walled in now. And that makes me wonder, I mean, what is the plan? I thought maybe we'd see a boom. Looks like DauT did place a second town center. Keeping in mind that the French do make villagers a little faster than everyone else. Looks like it's 17 point something seconds. Actually, interesting. Down to 16 seconds here in the castle age. So that is based on the current age of the player, which I had forgotten about. So 2 town centers with that will be pretty awesome from DauT. Something to note with Hera, instead of breaking out, what he's been doing is getting the resources to go to Imperial Age. So he's probably going to be able to use the Siege Workshop and then go for cannons. So let's see if he clicks up here anytime soon. We'll try to check back on him. In the meantime, DauT, Veteran Royal Knights. Where did his Royal Knights get to, though? Are they back at home? Ah, here they are. A little hard to see. I still wish they made the map less cluttered, but the I think it'd be great if you could scale the minimap. I'd love to increase it even to something like here. That would make it a lot bigger, but it would make it far more readable. Yellow villager heading home. So no forward shenanigans with the outpost coming in from the Viper, and the GL's GL team's time, there we go, to take advantage of the delay they created is over. Hera did click up. He's halfway to the Imperial Age, and he went up with... Where is it? Is it elsewhere on the map? Am I blind? Oh, I'm looking at the Mista instead of Hera. That's my mistake. I think I've been calling him Hera for quite some time. So, Palace of Swabia, this is the right place. So, Hera is, as the Holy Roman Empire, is going with the Tier 4 landmark that lets you produce villagers 4 times faster for 1/4 the price. So, he's going to have an insane boom behind this, and any time GL gained will be quickly regained by the other team here. So, he's at 43 economy, DauT 60, the Mista 46, Viper's only at 42. So, not much of a boom from him, but DauT has taken advantage of this time to a degree and definitely has the most villagers. Viper seems to be, let's say, messing around with Nest of Bees right now. So he knows his opponent has mostly horse archers and is going with that. So he'll probably have to pull back. Remember, these players are pretty high caliber, so I mean, I would just die if I went forward with these, but able to pull back and work together as a team. These guys have played at the very top level together for a long time. We're rivals in the past, and so on. From the Viper, we see the Barbican of the Sun coming out. This is mostly going to be for the Song Dynasty, so his town center will be able to produce 50% faster. To be honest, I think he knows he's behind at this stage. I'm not really sure what his plan is. I think they had a good laugh walling in their opponent, but I don't really see what they're going to get out of it. I think to get the most out of it, they would have had to just team up on an opponent. We see Hera putting down a siege workshop. So this will be used to make, let's say, a trebuchet or a... Actually, he's in the Imperial Age now. So a cannon. blast down his opponent's walls, and then just get out on the map. So GL team had better take advantage of this. Lots of scouts and horse archers out from TheMista, our Roos player, with a couple of Springolds just to deal with the siege. So very nice unit composition out of him. These two are definitely meta right now. Springolds have been recently nerfed, but they are, of course, still very useful, and in fact are more useful against enemy siege weapons now. DauT is capturing a sacred site. Good for DauT. You see another town center coming down from the Viper. Viper, what is your plan, man? See his resources reasonably well balanced. I'm not sure if he's saving up for something or not. Mostly just nest of bees and French knights. So it makes me think that either he's memeing or that they just discussed, you know, what would be a good simple unit composition here, where, like, you know, I can commit the minimum. He doesn't want to build production buildings, right? Notice he doesn't have a single one. He just has what came with teching up, which was the astronomical clock tower, which got him to the castle age. So he is going entirely off of that. This villager will not succeed in building that outpost, but that gives them some information in its own right. And these nests of bees, they're pretty much going to have to go home. I don't know how he's going to. 3 shots will definitely take them out. And with Hera in the... We have cannons now. I think those are cannons firing away. There's actually, yeah, a bombard here. Keep going at the front of his base. So Viper's forward wall and gate beginning to go down now. So Hera will be out and about on the map any minute now. Viper is has the least points here, so he has a good bit of work to do to catch up. Hera has the most, and that doesn't surprise me because I'm betting that he has boomed like crazy. 97 villagers now. DauT has 83. Remember, DauT got on 2 town centers quite a bit before Hera and had the advantage, but this Palace of Swabia is just a rampage. This thing just produces so many villagers so cheaply. So I think GL is in a pretty tough spot here, I think. Oh, actually, I didn't know. DauT has the highest points, but that is neither here nor there. Forward keep coming down from DauT. And the Red Palace. Cool, yeah. So DauT at the Imperial Age. Also, by the way, Hera is an Imperial, but there's some sort of visual glitch. I'm not sure why it happens, but sometimes players in the Imperial don't... Did he just... Oh, he canceled the keep so he could build stables around it or something like that. Keeping in mind the French do get discounts for being in the influence of a keep. The Red Palace is an absolute beast. This thing fires... You see all these Arbalest shots? They do 60 damage each. They shoot 10 tiles. And yeah, they'll rip apart knights. Obviously ships, but there aren't no ships on this map. But yeah, this thing is pretty cool. Very good defensive landmark, and he's going up with nice. He's further. So enlistment incentives, it'll cost a further 5% less for being in the influence of a keep. And if we go to DauT here and I click, I feel like we should see the influence, but we don't. That is okay. So let's leave it on DauT for a bit here. Pardon me. What do they see? So Viper has a very nice outpost, keeping an eye on this army, and I don't think TheMista realizes that Viper actually sees quite a bit of his army. Viper having taken the sacred site, but they are about to lose it. The colors are a bit wonky. You actually see on the map it was yellow, but on the actual I guess mini map it was yellow, and on the actual map it was green. So I don't know what that means, if DauT took them or what. Lots of spearmen coming out from Hera. So obviously this is a hard counter to the Knights of DauT, but tons of nests of bees hanging out over here. So Viper didn't go home and instead went to DauT. This suggests to me they want to push on Hera. You know, I could be wrong on this, but they seem to be massing in this area. These nests of bees will be very successful, actually, against a lot of the units that are massed against them right now. That being said, there are bombards on the other side, and we know there are Springolds kicking around somewhere here. Interesting. Trebuchet hanging out here, so I guess that took out the outpost from the Viper, and you can see how much less map vision they have now with that outpost gone. So it's starting to look a little claustrophobic for the GL team. What is Viper up to? Lots of villages over here. He's on stone. I see 2 town centers. And he's still in the castle age. So definitely a rough spot for the Viper. If he's unable to contribute with his nest of bees, I think this will be pretty bad. So DauT moving forward a little with the castle. They're going to spot this keep that is going down. I think, yeah, with this castle down, what's the plan? I mean, you're going to torch it with your knights? Doesn't seem like the best idea. Okay, Viper did get to the Imperial Age. I didn't see the landmark. Oh, it's out front. Why? The Spirit Way. So this will allow for, I wouldn't be surprised if he places a bunch of production buildings near here. This will allow for producing any dynasty-specific units near this 30% more cheaply. So for example, Fire Lancers, very popular unit in multiplayer games in Age of Empires 4. So wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch of stables go down for Fire Lancers. That being said, DauT is already going for Royal Knights, so maybe shoot the news. Or maybe he just felt that the Great Wall landmark wasn't worth it. That being said, he does have quite a few walls. Oh, these are still palisade. It's funny how much more work he put into walling in his opponents than walling himself in, or walling his enemies out safely. Keep coming down from the Viper in a forward fashion. Bombard coming out as well. So you'll see how good they are at actually just staying together in these games. Something that that I suffer with is me and really anyone playing at my level with 10. Oof, nest of bees going off. Not too many hits. Not too many hits. But we'll get separated one way or another. We won't have the mechanical skill to follow each other, and we'll get crushed sort of one at a time for that reason. Big siege knight push coming through from the GL team onto Hera and TheMista. We'll see how these nest of bees do. Horse archers moving forward. Nest of bees should be pretty good against horse archers, not to mention that this many royal knights should also be pretty good. So Hera with almost pure spearman siege. Single trebuchet coming in. I'm guessing it's going to try to be sniping siege from their opponents. Oh boy. You know what? I think this goes well for GL. These units are packed pretty tightly. He's going to pull away for now, get as much damage in as he can with the nest of bees. But I think the Royal Knights take out these spearmen, and then they're going to have their run of this area. Let's see if I am right. Lots of Springolds coming forward, so Springold War going on here. Going down from both sides. Red has lost more Springolds. Bombard's moving up. This keep going down, so I'm assuming those are the Bombards firing away at it. Wants to take out Hera's Bombards. So remember that Chinese... Oh, hitting the Siege Workshop in the meantime. So hopefully preventing any further Bombards or other siege from being created. For example, Springolds. So really nice push together with the two of these. TheMista only reaching the Imperial Age now. Let's take a look. Is this what he went down with? The High Armory, bunch of Siege Workshops going around it. So I forget specifically, decrease the cost of siege engines, nearby Siege Workshops by 20%. So he might be doing some sort of Springold mass here in order to deal with Viper's siege. And then, of course, there is a there's a unique upgrade. Increase the range of Springolds by 1.5 tiles. So nice play by TheMista, though he did do it forward and needs to be careful, because if that spot gets pushed, they will be in a very bad spot, and the High Armory, pardon me, cannot defend itself. So Nest of Bees going down, but they do act as such a good force multiplier with these knights, just because they really eliminate counters. They deal with packs of units so well, units that don't have that many hit points. 5 Bombards out here now from the Viper, and these things have 864 hit points, and that can still go higher, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to get maximum upgrades. I think he can get to 950 unless something has changed. Getting right into Hera's production here. So these will go down very, very quickly to these bombards. I think TheMista will probably start looking at what he can do to shift the attention somewhere else, because, you know, GL is pushing with a potential death ball. Did I lose the position here? Okay, here we go. So potential death ball of Knights and Siege. I think those nest of bees were lost. Viper may want to reproduce those. In the meantime, more bombards continuing to come out. Notice as well, there is an Imperial official supervising the clock tower, meaning that it can produce at triple time. So for now, he's going with an upgrade. I hope there are nest of bees out, because decreasing their reload time by 25% will not be too useful if there are no nest of bees. Red and blue grouping up at the top. Elite horse archers, look at these things. That's super cool. Lots of springalds, and remember, these guys have extra range now. So 13.5 range, they outrange most siege. Viper's siege is in danger now. Not only does Hera simply have more bombards, although Vipers have more hit points, but this number of springalds can really wreak havoc on the siege of their opponent. They have more range, and they actually do quite a bit of damage. It's 120 now against siege in total, instead of the 80 that it used to be. Forward keep coming down from DauT, but I can't imagine that this keep is long for this world. I have a hard time imagining that. DauT looping around the right side, seeing what he can see. Viper has actually plowed through in advance this stone wall. Wonderful play by both of them. Not sure why I can't hear the bombards there. There we go. I think it was just off map and it got confused. So Knights coming in here. Now they are going to be ready, and that many spearmen. I mean, the Knights can't really engage here. Looks like they're going to give it a shot, but I don't see, you know, this just seems like a loss of resources. The good news for Viper is he was able to destroy some landmarks, so he might try to maybe snipe a bombard. Ooh, but he's going to get one taken out himself. Knights are trickling in here, bombards are trickling in, which is not good. DauT actually does manage to just take out those spearmen. These Knights are absolute beasts. Getting in on the horse archers now, and we'll take out quite a few of them if they can't deal with them. This many bombards, though, will be pretty effective against Knights. So you can see a bunch of horse archers going down, but DauT has lost so many troops here. The points gap has decreased in the meantime. Viper is starting to lose bombards, so I can't help but feel like this may have been a bit of a trap. You know, it might have been a better idea to draw attention with the Knights and then actually engage somewhere else. In the meantime, there are Knights coming up the middle of the map. The horse archers will meet them very quickly, but these Knights looks like will pick off some, are these just culverins? Yeah, culverins from Hera. Only the French getting the rural culverins, which are particularly good at taking out other siege weapons. A lot of these buildings going down, though, so GL continuing to cause problems with the front, on the front line for their opponents. 2 bombards still here. Viper has lost a lot of stuff in the meantime. I am wondering how well... I think the both sides still have a very good shot at this game here. I am wondering how well TheMista works with Hera. So I don't know if TheMista does a lot of team play. And Hera does to a degree, but he is generally a solo player, whereas I think Viper is more known to be a little more adaptive and can jump into those team games much more easily, or is at least famous for it. We shouldn't sell Hera short on that front. Nest of Bees going to do as much damage as they can to these elite spearmen from Hera, but they're about to get picked off by all those springalds. So Viper, pull your bombards back, sir, or you will lose all of them. Look how many shots they take from even this many springalds, though. Pretty wild, but yeah, Viper must be trying to take out bombards, but that does not seem worth... I think he lost... You know, that was negative value engagement for the Viper. DauT's cavalry now retreating. I think the Viper's siege are rallying directly toward the front, so we have to be careful with that. The battle now moving more toward them. Areas like this are going to be vulnerable. Now, in this time, I didn't see it, but DauT was continuing to be active with his knights at the front, so causing as much problems along the production lines for their opponent as possible. These Springolds nowhere near as good against knights anymore, but this many of them will still be able to take out knights. That being said, horse archers are definitely going down. DauT pulling back for now. Let's take a quick look over here. The GL side does have the sacred site. Hera doing what he can to take it back, and this castle is going to go down with this many bombards. I don't see a way. Oh, pulls back. I'm surprised. Viper getting just enough shots that Hera didn't want to engage and left Viper with this. Is this Viper? No, this is DauT's castle. Left DauT with the castle. It's just that Viper is the one that's repairing it. Good teammate. Okay, I see some green ruckusing over here. You'll notice the keeps of their opponents have the boiling oil, so a lot of damage is going to be done here every 15 seconds or so. All the units around it will take damage, so very nice area of effect on those keeps. DauT does not expect to keep these knights alive. They're causing as much chaos as they can. So TheMista probably losing quite a few villagers at this stage. Take a quick look at that. 75 for him, 132 for the Viper, 108 for Hera, and 110 for DauT. So that economic disadvantage for the Viper has been well made up by this point. Did he ever get more than 2 town centers? Does he have one on the front? I don't see one, but he's been very consistent with villager production, and 2 town centers with Song Dynasty is the equivalent of 3 town centers. So not crazy that Viper takes that lead. Fire Lancers coming in from him now, and if we get a chance, we'll check back on those to see just how much damage they do, because not only are they incredible in charge circumstances, they do area of effect damage on the charge, but they do extra torch damage. They do like 50 torch damage right now. It's actually pretty ridiculous. I don't know if this is a cost-effective battle for DauT, but they will push back their opponent and probably try to jump on Hera's siege. If they can do that, they can regain this territory, and keep in mind that access to these resources is important, right? So even if all you're doing is holding your opponent at bay near their own base, you are doing a good thing for your side. Fire Lancers did go down here. Looks like Viper ran off, so maybe he saw that it was walled and didn't want to destroy the wall while he was being shot at by the Horse Archers, which sounds reasonable to me. The Viper is now back up to 6 bombards at the front. Let's check their hit points. Still 864 hit points, so I'm not sure which upgrade brings it to 950, or maybe I am making that up. We'll keep checking back when we get a chance. DauT losing an absolute ton of knights here, and Hera has 6 bombards here as well, so this is no joke. Viper needs to worry about losing these bombards. The Rus Horse Archers do 23 damage a pop, and you know, yes, 15 ranged armor is excellent, but that's enough that a solid mass of Horse Archers can take out the bombards. So Viper will hopefully repair those. In fact, yeah, it's just the one there that's at low hit points now. Continuing to battle French Knights versus Spearmen. So definitely efficient for Hera, but it doesn't work out in the end if you can't keep territory, right? So it is better to hit your population cap and have better units in tow. So Hera at, you know, basically pop capped when he's not losing units, and DauT is at 144 right now. So it does look like Hera is doing the right call here. If DauT were pop capped, I think Hera would be in big trouble with that many Royal Knights. The Viper as well. These bombards. What is he at? 168 population. Each of these bombards takes, what is it, 6? Yeah, I mean, if these things had area of effect, it would be even more ridiculous. You kind of want them, as it stands, to be staggered, because a single shot from these things does 204 damage without any bonus. So a single shot should take out Spearmen. So I'd even consider keeping them staggered in staggered formation. Although that will mean that your opponent will tend to get the better of you in siege. Viper managing to jump on one of Hera's bombards. We'll be pretty happy about that. Definitely whoever has a larger mass... Ooh, another one going down from Hera. Well played by the Viper, continuing to march forward. Look how many spearmen this is, though. And the Viper sees it right away and pulls back. DauT's Knights moving forward, although, of course, they are not particularly good against spearmen. So I think these guys are going to have to figure out a solution to the spearmen. Maybe straight mangonels. And by the way, that wasn't a full castle being deleted. That was just, if you delete one that is partially created, it still gives you the full destruction animation as it currently stands. And that keep is going down over here instead. I don't think they have a solution to all these spearmen right now. I think maybe regular mangonels or enough nest of bees could do it. Viper is actually fairly close to being population capped right now. Has 123 economic units. Yeah, this keep going down so quickly. Bombards firing away. These knights will wrap around and kill the spears. That being said, there are an awful lot of Springolds and Horse Archers here, so I don't know if these knights do the job. And Bombards are starting to go down from the Viper as they're trying to set up, managing to take out some Springolds from the Mista. Horse Archers flanking here, killing villagers as well. Viper down to 113 economy, losing a lot of his forward villagers. These elite Fire Lancers are now coming in, so it's possible he was holding back. Watch how fast this goes down. And it's gone. So these these Fire Lancers do 55 torch damage, plus the 10 against siege still. And so they're absolute beasts, and they should do pretty well against the Horse Archers, although the Mista is a clever man, and you can see he's in the spread formation here to avoid the area of effect charge damage. Whoa, is that a graphical glitch? Very nice. 2021, everyone. So Hera and the Mista starting to make pretty good progress here, closer to DauT's base. So they're in big trouble. DauT can push this back for a little while, but these spearmen can just move in on him, and he'll be in trouble. So tons of Horse Archers going down from the Knights, and yeah, he'll pull back there. I really think there's a lost opportunity. Siege needed, maybe more Nest of Bees from the Viper, or just Mangonels from DauT. So you can get them this grouped up. Let's see, he doesn't have Boiling Oil either, so drawing them here won't really provide much of an advantage either. Fire Lancers now coming in, trying to take out the Horse Archers, but again, just not that effective when they're at spread formation. So I'm definitely going to take note of this, because I've seen people online talking about Fire Lancers as a counter to the Horse Archers, but it looks like that just isn't true if they're in spread formation. 192 hit points on these Fire Lancers. They move quite quickly, 1.72, faster than Knights. Viper's bombard numbers are now recovering, but there are so many Springolds on the other side, and all these Horse Archers. I don't think this is going to work. Maybe the Fire Lancers run in. You see how quickly he spreads, though. So Viper trying to use this opportunity to take out bombards from Hera. His own bombard's not being shot, so maybe this ends up being worthwhile for the Viper, but in the meantime, he pulls back to try to regain his numbers. So I do think they're being a little bit stubborn here with their unit composition. Something to note about Age of Empires 2 is that it is often the case that players will basically make a single unit in a team game. So in a one-on-one, it's common to have a single unit as the bulk of your force, and then you need to complement it in one or two ways, depending on what you see, what you're worried about. But in team games, it's common that basically, you go archers, I go knights, and then we're good to go. So it is possible. I think neither of these players have played very much Team Age of Empires 4, and are therefore not adapting, perhaps, in the way that they need to be. A ton of Viper's villagers going down. He's down to 92 villagers. This is starting to look pretty bad for the GL team. He is continuing to make more Fire Lancers. Just trying to take a look at what else is going on. Horse Archers getting all over the economy of the Viper now with those forward villagers. I think this is particularly bad at this stage of the game as well because players will have gone through resources in their base. That being said, they probably held off on taking some of these resources for as long as they could. I mean, look at this, for example. The TheMista didn't take this gold at all because, well, you might as well take a forward gold if you can, and then if you get pushed back, you know you have gold in your own base. Plenty of Fire Lancers from the Viper. I don't think it's enough. We need to see a... I mean, even these Knights getting involved with this raiding and pushing it back could be helpful. And additionally, Hera's Spearmen and Siege has been pretty good for them, right? I mean, it's pretty much countered. Both of these are in their own way counters to Knights. Bombard's doing 204 damage per hit. Elite Royal Knights having less than double that in health. So 2 Bombard shots will take out Knights. That's 240 resources gone almost instantly. So you can keep these alive. You're in a good spot. Meanwhile, the Roost player going with some Springolds, using that extra range they get. So very well played for the two of them. Viper has switched to Veteran Jugonus. So we'll probably see these hit Elite, and there they go. So he hits Elite with them, and I'm assuming this is in an attempt to counter both the Spearmen and the Horse Archers. They will still struggle to an extent against the Siege, but so he's drawing his opponent in. These Jugonus may get involved against the Spearmen now. And I think this probably is the right play. I don't see too much in the way of splash damage from their opponent, which would be a good way to deal with these, something like Mangonels. Hera is going to see these units. We'll see how he reacts, and it looks like he's not too eager to engage them. So he's going to push back the Spearmen and then jump on the Siege with Fire Lancers. So well played. Oh, I like this. Actually, I like this a lot. Looks like they planned a counterattack, and if they can take out the Siege from their opponents, they will be in such a good spot. So we finally see that composition switch from the Viper, DauT continuing to go with the Knights, and then the Fire Lancer Jugonu. Both of these are, by the way, special units, and so building them by the Spirit Way, although it looks like only the Fire Lancers have been made there, will make them 30% cheaper. So very cool. Let's just double check that. Yeah, near this landmark produce at minus 30% the cost. So very successfully pushing back their opponents, dropping keeps right away. Players like these are so decisive when they take even a small advantage. Both DauT and the Viper a little bit back in points. Let's take a quick look at economy. So 77.62 for Viper. DauT is 97.29. 80.105. 82.68. So this is admittedly pretty hard to do in a 2v2. Much more easy to do in a 1v1. So many Elite Horse Archers out from the TheMista. We still have to find out if they have a good way of dealing with this. The Jugonus should be very effective against them, but I think the Horse Archers will outrange them. So we'll see what Viper's plan is there. I think they need to act together in the same way that they did before, where, you know, if you can push back your opponent's Spearmen, your Knights can come in. If your Knights can come in, maybe the Horse Archers have to move back. The Horse Archers move back, the Fire Lancers jump on the Siege, and you push back your opponents again. So the game has evened out a little bit here, both sides taking a bit of a breath. We'll see if the red side reacts in any way, maybe some Mangonels, something like that to deal with the... Oh my god, so many Horse Archers. Like, he's covering the world in Horse Archers. 122 population of military from the TheMista. I bet he's deleted villagers. I mean, it's possible he just never made that many, but that is absolutely ridiculous. We'll see if this many Jugonus is enough for the challenge, and I'm really not convinced that it is. They are a good counter. At least a lot of these for GL, a lot of these Horse Archers are busy shooting at the castle right now. Man, this is looking pretty rough for GL. I'm not sure how they'll deal with that many military units. The TheMista is running at the absolute bare minimum of food, so it is possible if they could find a way to clear this Horse Archer army, he won't really be able to rebuild it. But it's just not that many Juvenus, is it? More Fire Lancers coming out from the Viper. Yeah, I do not see a solution to this many Horse Archers. I think you might need Nest of Bees at this point. DauT is making progress against the Spearmen over here. So if he can get a good flank, they can push back the Horse Archers. Juvenus, look at this damage they are doing, right? I mean, these things drop quickly. This is not very many units, and they are dropping Horse Archers. So very, very effective counter from them. Bombard getting way, way too close. Must be trying to take out... looks like it took out a specific siege unit over there. But going down itself in the process. Ay. I think GL was trying to get together for that sort of, if not last push. Like, let's see if we can push out our opponents. Their militaries are way down at this point. Mista has 100. Viper has 9. Hera has 80. DauT has 24. At the end of the day, folks, military does win games. Villagers are a means to an end. You can have more villagers, but if you don't have the military, you can easily be run over. And we see that happening right here. Both players coming together, holding hands, killing villagers, living their dreams. Yeah, right. And the fact, when they spread out like this, they just cover a screen. It's pretty wild. Starting to get on top of Viper's production here. I think that spells not the beginning of the end, but probably the end for the GL team. I think they'd have to have something pretty clever going on. DauT continuing to try to raid, which is the right thing to do. You do want to distract your opponent. Of course, Hera is quite used to this kind of play and will likely not overcommit to it. I think a Juvenus switch earlier could have done the trick. I think that was a little late. He may have needed more of them as well. Maybe a couple more Nest of Bees as well. Oh no, Fire Lancers coming in on these Spearmen, and they're not even going to get that charge in because the Spearmen will brace. Starting to push into Viper's base now. Not looking good for the GL team. Look how fast this Barbican is going to go down under Bombard Fire. Sacred Sight. They need to take... Oh yeah, they actually do have this. So there is a timer ticking down, and I did not notice when... Oh no, actually DauT still has this one. Cheeky man. Horse Archers targeting down the Knights. Landmarks going down. Camping the base of the GL team. And it is over. Hera and the Mista beat DauT and the Viper in a 2v2 on Hillendale. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that. More 2v2 to come if you did. This has been Paragon RG. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.